like to thank our partners today, Startup Odisha and KID, for agreeing to partner to this event. Before we start, I would like to give a background to what Prarambh is. Prarambh marks the fifth anniversary of Startup India, which was launched by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi on January 16, 2016. The initiative aims to bring a sharp focus on startups and to also catalyze the Indian ecosystem to provide innovative solutions for local and global needs. In the last 5 years, India has become the fastest growing startup ecosystem in the world, with the presence of over 30 unicorns, out of which nine have emerged in 2020 itself. So I would encourage all the participants to register themselves on the Prarambh website for the summit. With these words, I would like to start off the session, and I would like to invite Ms. Monica Naya Patnaik. She is the chairperson Council. Ms. Naya is the managing director of a leading media house, the Sambat Group. She is the founder, promoter of Radio Chocolate, and member in the governing body of Association of Radio Operators of India. She is also in the governing body of FICCI National Media and Entertainment Sales Council. Ms. Naya.
A very good evening to all of you. Thank you, Aishwarya. Welcome all of you today for this beautiful summit. I personally welcome Dr. Mrityunjay Swar, CEO KIT TBI, Nikita Kocher, Startup India, and Mr. Prashant Biswal, Evangelist Startup Odisha, Government of Odisha, and my colleague Mr. J.K. Rath. He is the MSME Chairman, FICCI State of Odisha. And other participants who are there, I welcome you all. It's really nice to be here because something which we are related to, the young entrepreneurs and innovators of today would participate in this Prarambh of Startup India International Summit 2021. And we are very happy and glad that this is the first edition of the virtual edition of the Odisha state. So let us begin with this, and my heartiest congratulations to all the startups and the young innovators and incubators who will be participating in this event virtually January 15th and 16th, 2021. Let me, Aishwarya has already said the basis of what Prarambh is all about, but then let us see that when we are talking about our ecosystem of startups, to see that there has been more than 40,884 startups, 28 states and 8 union territories. It is interesting to note here that out of these 40,884, Tier 1 has about 55% of the startups that come from. And now the focus is also, which is upcoming, 45% from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. So this is the place where we need to focus on, and we would want to encourage young people to get up into this entrepreneurial system. Another thing which we will want to participate here is that, once this COVID happened, the pandemic took place, there was a lot of opportunities for the young individuals to come up and, reinvent the wheel for the startup as per se. And one of the greatest examples we have seen at the PPE industry, which has also taken the industry worth 7,000 crores, with about 1,100 manufacturers producing about 450 units a day. So this COVID-19 has taught a little lesson to us in terms of improvising our own thing. Now, the smartest of this situation, we need to see that how many of the startups will be able to modify their business plans to come up and face this kind of a challenge in the coming years. So one great example, I think we have also seen that low-cost solutions, innovative solutions will be the call of the day. We have our, with the FICCI Alliance, Millennium Alliance group, we have some a product design called Saral Designs, used to manufacture low-cost sanitary napkins. But now they have tied up with the Mahindra group, and they are also providing now, innovating it, and the 3-ply surgical masks. So this is the way we'll have to innovate ourselves and come to the forefront, and keeping in mind the beneficial aspects of our people. So here is an example, and I wish all the very best to all the people who are participating in this. We at Odisha, I would love to say that in terms of the Make in India campaign, Make in Odisha, FICCI has been a part of it with the government of Odisha for the past two summits. We've been doing this, and this time also we have signed a deal with the government of Odisha, with the Honorable CM, for the Make in Odisha campaign, as FICCI would be doing it. And that's a part of it when the startup part is called I Am Odisha. So I Am Odisha encourages the startups of Odisha in all the 314 blocks and across 33 districts of the state, and we encourage them to come forward and give their presentations and solutions. So once again, welcome you all to this summit, and thank you, esteemed speakers and panelists here today, and all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Naya. I would now like to invite Dr. Mrithyunjay Suhas, who CEO KIT Technology Business Incubator, to give his address.
Thank you. Good evening to all of you. Thank you, Monica ma'am, for a nice presentation. I think most of you know us. I'm Mrithyunjay from KTBI. This is the right platform. This is the right time to start your startups, and that's what I think. I see the name called Prarambh. It's a revolution for the startups. It's the right time to build your startup. And from KTBI perspective, as people have been talking about Odisha, and we with I know the FICCI is quite driving it, but KTBI has built a name in this sector of building startups companies. And as I said, we have been promoting more manufacturings. One of our success story was a company called Far Eye, which became now 3,500 crores company. They're going to be definitely a unicorn in the near future. Why I'm saying all these things, people have been not talking about startups in Odisha. I think we have built some enabling platform here. I'll be requesting those who are participating today, tell your friends, relatives, everyone that this is the right time to build your startup, tech startup in the whole country. And Odisha is not, behind. It's now taking the leadership. If you ask me that Odisha has got everything, there's nothing to complain about it. India has everything at the moment, all funds, all ecosystem, all enabling factors, industry bodies like FICCI, everybody is here. So I'll be requesting all of you to come forward and see that the Prarambh is not going to only a summit, but you should start it and you should build a new India with more manufacturers. And having said that, what we as an incubator brings to the table for the startup is enabling platform. And we have almost 250 plus startup companies coming out of KTBI, and they've been incubated in different sectors. And some of them are doing extremely good. And if you ask me that funding wise, because people always talk about like in 2009, when we started, the fund was an issue. But in due course of time, funding has never been an issue now. It's all about your ideas, the building teams, and your strength of building enterprise, your understanding of building enterprise. Now, government has created all sort of ecosystems for it. Only you have to come forward. And I'll give you a couple of examples where students, faculties, individuals, groups, everybody think differently. If they build a team, I think things will happen in our country. Now, what KTBA brings here, we bring several ecosystem, value addition platform like fellowship for you. We bring design fellowships program for you. We bring manufacturing funds for you. We also bring biotech ignition grant for you. This might start from 5 lakhs to 50 lakhs of rupees. So money is not a problem. Beyond it, I think we are also establishing a technology transfer office, which is funded by NBM, National Biopharma Mission, and also a IP office. So many startups can use our facilities. Apart from that, we have now built up, an ecosystem where startups also can get seed funds, leaf fund, scale up funds from us. This could also go from 25 lakhs of rupees to 1 crore rupees. So why you are waiting for it, to start your company? So everything is there. Only you have to build, bring out the right problem statements, build the right team, and then you can kick off from the Odisha itself. Now, when I have been talking about the COVID-19 during time, people have been talking about things will not happen positively, but I could see several startups, even government came into picture, FICCI, everyone came into picture and said, how do you build a conducive platform during COVID-19? Several schemes came into picture, all from the BIRAC, from DST, the very powerful scheme called Kavach, The MeitY came with a scheme called, Sasat scheme. Everything was towards COVID-19. So everybody is concerned. Only thing, startups, all of you, those who are participating, please think that this is not a project. Startup is a movement. It's a process. So you have to really get into the process, understand, practice, immerse yourself, and see that in due course of time, you are building the successful enterprise for future. Now, failure is a part of this. So I think once you fail, I feel in startup it's a success, because if you fail and if you learn very quickly out of it, I think if you look at KTBI startups, maximum of a startup, they fail initially, but they become very very strong in the second phase. I think all of you, my message would be that this is the right time. Prarambh is now going to happen, in this month only. So all of you should, see that, bring out right problem statements. Don't worry about money. It's all about worry about your problem statement. Government is, providing so much of support. Ecosystems like KTBI, there are many one now in Bhubaneswar. IIT has got NIT Rourkela, ILS Bhubaneswar. Everybody is now putting up incubator. So Odisha should now drive the ecosystem for East and Northeast. So whenever I write any blog, I'm very optimistic. I could see things can happen in Odisha now. Startup Odisha, for example, is now really putting up a lot many efforts into this. Even our Department of Science and Technology for startups, for biotech sector, also putting much of effort into this. So maybe in a team, if you plan it, it's going to happen. Apart from this, for the startups, let me tell you that whoever is now coming forward, they can talk to us. We can connect to right kind of ecosystem. May not be in Bhubaneswar, maybe in Delhi and Mumbai. We want to work in a team. And I'll be requesting all the people, including Startup India, Invest India, they have been really working hard. Only thing we have to leverage their hard work. So with this, I thank FICCI, I thank Startup India, Invest India, DPIIT, everyone who are a part of this, and especially Startup Odisha, which is now driving the startup ecosystem in the state. I also thank my KTBI members, because we are now 40 members in the KTBI full time, and it's one of the largest incubator in the country. We never publicize this, but let me tell you, KTBI is one of the highly ranked, and we have also got Center of Excellence because of our hard work and because of the good startups we have produced out of this. Every alternate months, we have got private investment happening in our startups. So that's a good sign. I'll only say with the optimistic word that this is the right time to build your startup, not only in Odisha, in the whole country. Come forward and build it for yourself and for the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for providing your insights on the ecosystem support provided by KIT, and also through the policies through Startup Odisha initiative. I will now like to invite Ms. Nikita Kochar. She's from the Startup India team, and she will be giving us a presentation on the summit, main summit.
Thank you, Aishwarya. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nikita from the Startup India team. I will just share my screen and begin shortly. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Nikita, you can go ahead.
Great. So today I'll take you through a short presentation on the Startup India benefits, the upcoming Startup India International Summit, Prarambh, as well as the National Startup Awards and the State Startup Ranking. So as we know, Startup India is a flagship initiative of the Government of India, and it's intended to build a strong ecosystem for nurturing innovation for startups and also driving economic growth and generating large-scale employment opportunities. The initiative has not only brought a sharp focus on startups in the country, but it's also catalyzed the Indian startup ecosystem and accelerated Indian entrepreneurs building innovative solutions both domestically as well as globally. Since the launch of the initiative, several programs have been undertaken to contribute to the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of transforming India into a nation of job creators as opposed to job seekers. As you can see on your screen, India is the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, and 45% of our startups come from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We also have an ever increasing number of DPIIT recognized or Government of India recognized startups, and now it stands at over 41,000. when it comes to understanding what really qualifies as a startup, we have a few basic criteria that was notified on the 19th of February 2019. And it's essentially, it talks about a company being incorporated either as a private limited company, an LLP, or a registered partnership. The second metric that we look at is the age of a startup that, we see should be 10 years from the date of incorporation. The turnover of a startup must not exceed 100 crore INR in any fiscal year for it to be qualified, as a startup. And additionally, if we check if it's working towards innovation, development, or improvement of products or services, or if it's a scalable business with a high potential of either employment generation or wealth creation. So when we look at the recognition procedure for, to become a Government of India recognized startup, this is a fairly simple process. It's an online application form and requires you to submit, a few basic details. As you can see, the URL is on your screen. And so we'll ask you, for your founder and team details, your entity details, your business model, and the works. And after you do upload a few basic, supporting documents, it goes into evaluation by the Startup India team, which will evaluate your proposal for somewhere between 24 to 48 hours. And, if your application is found suitable, then you are granted recognition immediately. If not, you are still granted two more chances post that to reapply for recognition at that point in time. So let's come to the talk of the hour, the Prarambh Summit, the Startup India International Summit. Prarambh, as we know, as the noun implies an auspicious start. So aiming to bring India's entrepreneurial force onto the global map, DPIIT is hosting the Prarambh Summit, which essentially marks the 5th anniversary of the Startup India initiative launched by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi on January 16th, 2016. The summit is aimed to lay a foundation of multilateral cooperation and engagement with countries from around the globe to develop and hone these startup ecosystems collectively. So this 2-day long virtual summit will bring together over 200 speakers from 25 countries to facilitate discussions on innovation, emerging tech, policies, initiatives, enable government and international organizations to share their views on one single platform, and essentially set on fire the minds of young Indian entrepreneurs, driving them to solve the problems and challenges, not just for India, in fact, but also for the entire world. Here we have a few of the objectives of the Startup India International Summit. The summit is a select gathering of of innovators, entrepreneurs, investors, regulators, industry, and academia luminaries from India and across the world, including BIMSTEC member states. So, apart from deliberating on good practices from some of the best ecosystems across the world, the sessions are designed to showcase the spread and depth of entrepreneurship based on innovation in India. So, the idea is to attain the attention of global capital, mobilize domestic capital, provide opportunities for accessing international markets for our Indian startups, and evolve enabling policy provisions as well. We do hope that this goes in line with our vision of creating job creators and instead of job seekers. And we hope to see all our startups from Odisha also at the summit. These are a few key highlights of the summit, where we'll have sessions with unicorns. We'll be sharing some best practices, programs on social innovation, star talks on women entrepreneurship. So these will be, both specific sessions, however, sector agnostic. So everyone is invited to come and join. And these will be some of the formats in which it will go about. We'll also have some closed door sessions with corporates and investors. So we look forward to having all of you there. The inaugural session will be inaugurated by the Honorable CIM Shri Piyush Goyal. He will address the gathering at this session, and it shall include a few remarks from dignitaries and representatives from BIMSTEC countries on improving international collaboration as well. The grand plenary will conclude the summit. The session will comprise of essentially reporting on the entire summit and on the proceedings, as well as culminating and coming out with key announcements that have come about during the summit, as well as for the way ahead. So the session, as you can see, is likely to be graced with the presence of the Honorable Prime Minister, and we encourage all our startups to come and be part of this as well. The state startup ranking. So this was launched in 2018 with the key objective of encouraging states and union territories to take proactive steps towards strengthening their startup ecosystems. So the implementation of the states ranking framework has essentially been a capacity development exercise, and it focuses on the dissemination of best practices as well as mutual learning among states, and creating some kind of healthy competition among the states and union territories in India. So the ranking framework has proved to be an effective tool in the past two editions. This is the third edition that we have launched in December 2020. And as you can see on your screen, the framework hosts 7 reform areas and 26 action points, ranging from institutional support to access to market that entails public procurement and funding support, as well as mentorship and capacity building of enablers. So states and union territories are also divided into two categories, category A and B, to ensure a level playing field and uniformity in the evaluation. And best performing states will be categorized basis their performance on an all-encompassing basis. So owing to the growing capacities in states, of course, individual officers and key stakeholders of state startup ecosystems will also be recognized, and those who contribute to strengthening the state or UT startup ecosystem. In fact, as a result of last year's state startup ranking exercise, we have 30 states and union territories with startup policies. We have about 1,500 funded startups. We have 1,200 women entrepreneurs who have been provided with special incentives by states and union territories. And we have over 420 startup events for networking and mentorship and the works carried out. So we do hope to see participation from more and more states and union territories in this edition as well. Coming forward, we have the National Startup Awards. So despite the challenging times, the Indian startup ecosystem has showcased unprecedented growth and resilience in innovation, which have been playing an important role in propelling the nation's socio-economic growth trajectory. So as a successor to the first edition, the National Startup Awards 2021 will recognize and reward outstanding startups and enablers that have demonstrated exceptional capabilities, and not just in terms of financial gain, but also in terms of social impact, and measurable social impact, that is. Consideration is also being given to champion sectors that with a focus on improving India's manufacturing capabilities, and of course going hand in hand with our vision of an Atmanirbhar Bharat. So the recognized entities will also benefit from, of course, the fiscal benefit, but also from the various modes visible on your screen. They'll be able to showcase their solutions to greater stakeholders by participating in Investor Connect or pitching sessions, being mentored, Government Connect, as well as access to the international market. Here we have a few of our national startup awardees from 2020, and these are some of the greatest success stories as well. And so we would like to bring that to your notice. We have Skyroot Aerospace that was actually acknowledged and was able to speak to the Honorable Prime Minister and share their solution and their vision with the Honorable Prime Minister themselves. As a result of the National Startup Awards. And Scapic Innovations, which is an augmented reality based startup, was able to be acquired at 100% stake by Flipkart, another National Startup Award winner from 2020. So here, as we identify and celebrate innovations across 15 sectors, 49 subsectors, and a variety of categories, we have 6 special categories that we're going to be looking at. This will range from women-led startups to, rural impact-based startups, campus-based startups, as well as owing to this year, innovation in COVID-19. The promotion of content in Indic languages will also be considered under a special category award. Here we have few of the award details of the National Startup Awards this year. We'll have fiscal benefits, like I said as well, and these will be the range of categories that we'll have. So startups will receive about 5 lakhs, to winning startups, and incubators and accelerators will also be recognized in terms of in 15 lakhs, as well as the additional benefits that will be provided, the non-fiscal benefits. So here, when we look at these awards, we'll actually evaluate basis scalability, innovation, social impact, economic impact, as well as inclusivity and environmental impact. So we do look forward to having stakeholders from across the ecosystem in Odisha as well come and participate in the National Startup Awards. We look forward to having incubators, accelerators, and startups. And also, we look forward to seeing you at the Startup India International Summit, Prarambh, on the 15th and 16th of January 2021. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nikita. Thank you for sharing the details for the summit. I'll encourage all participants to avail the benefits and register to the summit. I would now like to invite Mr. Prasanta Biswal. He is Evangelist Startup Orissa, Government of Orissa.
Thank you, Aishwarya. Good afternoon to everyone, especially the speakers on the dais, including Madam Monica, Dr. Swar, uh, Nikita from Startup India, Mr. Rat. Thank you for this opportunity. Startup India has always been a great partner. We have been working together as a team to ensure that the startup ecosystem in the state of Odisha is developed. The policies are in the right place, regulations are created, and everything is facilitated for young startups. Um, this particular event that Startup India is organizing, it's a landmark event. I think this is the right time to give or accelerate the startup movement in the country. As Dr. Swart said, it's a movement, it's not a project. I would rather say, this particular movement is at a critical juncture today. You have 40,000 plus startups in the country. You have so many unicorns, in particularly in 2020. I think despite the pandemic, we have seen unicorns emerging out of India. So this is a critical juncture where we have been talking about Prime Minister Modi has been talking about vocal for local. We have been talking about making startups as the engine of growth of Indian economy. So this will happen when we have startups at all local corners of the country. As a state, Startup Odisha, under Government of Odisha initiative has been trying its best, creating a conducive ecosystem for startups in the country since the launch of Odisha Startup Policy in 2016. So we have 864 startups as of today. We have roughly 17, exactly 17 incubators, and this number is growing. Every day that we talk about how to ensure that a young entrepreneur, a young college student from some district of Odisha with a brilliant idea is trying to change the world, trying to set up a business. How can the government and the ecosystem players play a role to ensure that this guy, this girl or boy gets maximum possibility of success, and evade the chances of failure. Of course, failure is part of this system. However, with proper support systems, proper incubation facilities, as well as various incentives, we can actually reduce the failure and ensure that startups actually and truly become engine of growth for our economy and the country. This particular event is really encouraging because I was part of this state startup award event when Honorable Minister announced this particular event. This particular event has the potential to give the platform to young entrepreneurs at national and international scale. Now, what the pandemic has done is reduce the chance of interaction physically. However, it has given us immense potential to or chances to interact with anyone in the world. So sitting at your home, sitting at your offices, you can actually participate in this program, interact with your startups, interact with investors, mentors, government officials, policymakers, and see where you are going right, where you're going wrong, and what else you need in your journey as a startup. So I would actually thank Startup India for organizing something like Prarambh, and particularly startup ranking as well as the startup national startup award has also been highly encouraging. So particularly in the last 2 years, we have seen a lot of startups coming up, getting encouraged. I hope a lot of you, a lot of startups attending this particular program will participate in this award this year. Will also participate in this program Prarambh this year and take benefit out of it. So highlighting a little bit of what is happening in the startup Odisha ecosystem. As many of you know, we have a objective of creating a very good conducive startup hub for our startups in this state. I will share a very good news with you today. I'm just getting out of one meeting where the government has finally cleared the deck for launching 100 crore fund of funds for startups in Odisha. This has been a commitment by the government, and finally, all the approvals are in place now today after the meeting. We can be able to launch this 100 crore fund of funds. We know that for startups at early stage, we have monthly allowance, we have product development grant of 15 lakh rupees, etc. However, when it comes to scale of capital, access to scale of capital in Odisha has been a bit difficult. Except if you leave the exception of TVI, which has been highly successful in helping their incubating startups to raise follow-on funding. Largely startups in Odisha have been struggling to raise scale of capital. So this fund of fund initiative, which will ensure access to at least 200 crore rupees over a period of 5 years to our startup, can actually create that platform for startups to grow from here. So we will probably see 100 crore or 1,000 crore or unicorns in the state in the coming years. And thanks to the support of all stakeholders, all our incubators, nodal institutions, our activist cells, we have been quite successful in creating local role models. So talking about the ecosystem a little bit more, I would say as Dr. Suar was saying, this is the right time for young entrepreneurs, students to look at starting up because as you see, pandemic has shown us a real picture. So we really need to be self-dependent as the government of India's slogan for Atmanirbhar Bharat. I think this is the right time to be Atmanirbhar as well as being job creator. Our students have come up with brilliant ideas. We organize hackathons, we organize our other programs where we see brilliant ideas, brilliant innovations, global level, international class innovations. So why can't they become pioneering startups tomorrow? We just need the conducive ecosystem. We need support of every entity, every stakeholder, and these guys will make history. So as far as Government of Odisha's initiatives are concerned, we are there. We are available for startups at any time. Our policies incentives are there. It's just not just on paper. We have been disbursing grants, incentives. We have been working very closely with our incubators and startups to ensure that each and every concern raised by startups, grievances, suggestions are taken into account and proper modifications, proper amendments are done in the policy. I'm happy to share that three major initiatives for startup Government of Odisha, through Startup Odisha initiative, are going to be launched this year. So one is, as I mentioned, the 100 crore fund of funds. Hopefully by April or May, we will see that launch. The second is a world-class startup hub in Bhubaneswar that is also coming up, where startups will get state-of-the-art facilities to get incubated to find support systems. The third one is we are also coming up with a futuristic new startup policy. 2016, we had the first policy which is expiring in 2021. We are already working on it. No, we are making a policy which is very startup friendly. So earlier when we started, we did not really have a startup ecosystem. We did not really have startups to take suggestions from. Today we have roughly 900 startups, and we listen to every one of them and ensure that it's a policy next policy is made for and by startups, so that it really creates the ecosystem that you startups need and are looking for from the government. So with that, I thank the organizers, Startup India, FICCI, our partner TBI, and all those institutions associated with this program, and the Startup India Prarambh International Summit happening on the 15th and 16th January. I appeal to all our startups or students, potential entrepreneurs participating in this program to really join this event and ensure that you take benefit of this. All of us are working hard to ensure a smooth road for you. You need to take benefit of it and prove yourself to the country. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Biswal. Thank you for sharing the details on the policies. We'll now take up some questions from the audience. So, one, sir, to you. So, it's specifically to the policies that have been that you've stated right now. So, the participants would like to know how they can, get awareness on these policies. Where is there a portal where all these are listed, and what is the support available for especially for early stage entrepreneurs, and how can they avail these benefits?
Thank you for the question. The web portal for anyone to access the Startup Odisha initiative the support system is startupodisha.gov.in. Startupodisha.gov.in. You will also find a helpline number, toll-free helpline number on our website. You can call up on any working day and speak to our call team to find out more information. So basically, we go with the same definition of startup as Startup India, and we also give a recognition, parallel recognition to startups who are incorporated in the state of Odisha or employ 50% of their workforce in the state of Odisha. Once you are registered as a startup, once you are approved as a startup, you can access financial incentives and non-financial incentives. So financial incentives include rupees 20,000 per month for first 12 months, as a sustenance allowance. Then we have a product development and marketing assistance up to 15 lakh rupees. There's a need-based assistance for high-tech and deep science innovation. Then there is a subsidized incubation of 5,000 rupees per month rental subsidy for 12 months. And there's an event participation support if you're participating in any national or international event. So to access this, you first need to be a registered startup. So you can get registered both on DPIIT, Startup India, as well as Startup Odisha. If you are a Odisha incorporated company and you are doing something innovative, product, process, or service, you qualify to be recognized. Once you're recognized, you can apply for this grant. So you can find more information on our website, startupodisha.gov.in, or speak to us on our toll-free helpline mentioned on the website for more information. Just adding a couple of more points. I know we look at startups in three different stages. One is before you register your company. You also know somebody has the idea. You are not registered a company. You will not be able to access our grant. That is where incubators come in. Let's say you can walk into KIT TBI saying that I have this idea. I need your mentorship. I need your help to take this idea to prototype or go to market stage or MVP. And incubators like KIT TBI are there to help you. Once you are registered as a company, you come under the ambit of Startup Odisha and you get financial income. Number two is if you are already a registered startup, you need to survive and grow. So for survival, we give you financial incentives. We give you access to government procurement, which lot of exemptions. We are also thinking of coming up to come up with a special procurement policy for exclusively for startups. Number three is scale up. That is why you need capital. You need proper guidance, proper mentorship. This fund of funds that we're coming up with is for that, and that is where investors will be available, mentors will be available to help you with scale up. So all these three stages, we want to leave no stones unturned. We want to make sure that every support is available at every stage, so that every startup, every idea gets its due, support to and chance to be a successful startup. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I think you've answered almost all the questions that were there from the startups. Next, we have some questions for the summit. So, Nikita, if you can answer these. Particularly, a query is raised if the summit is focused on any particular sector. And they have also asked if one applies for the startup, how to apply for the Startup India Awards. So what's the process for that?
Sure. Actually, the Prarambh Summit is not focused on any sector. It's completely sector agnostic. We will be taking you through sessions on, on a variety of sessions. So we'll be sharing some best practices, some knowledge exchange workshops. We have a workshop on idea to proof of concept. We have workshops on market strategy, on leveraging social innovation, on enabling market access. So none of these will be sector specific. We also have star talk sessions by marquee speakers. Again, it will be a general perspective, and it will be useful to the vast range of stakeholders that the startup ecosystem has. So definitely encourage startups in all sectors to register for the summit. And when it comes to the National Startup Awards, it's fairly straightforward. You can go on our website, and I can also post the link here, for everyone to see, and furthermore on the streaming link. And you can actually just go on to our website, startupindia.gov.in, and click on National Startup Awards to click on register now. Once you have clicked on register now and you have put in all your details, you will get a short confirmation on the screen, and you will shortly be contacted as well. The applications are open until 31st of January, so we do encourage you to apply at the earliest.
Thanks, Nikita. And a follow-up question to that. So on the main summit, is there a scope to exhibit, and will there be B2B meetings during the summit?
So actually, there are B2B sessions being planned, and there will be plans for a virtual showcase as well. That is on the radar. However, these are closed door sessions, and these have already been shortlisted, so the applications are not open for them any longer. So that will be these are already decided startups that will be presenting at this point in time.
Okay, thank you. Noted. So I guess all these questions are now over. I will now like to invite Mr. J.K. Rath, FICCI CSME Chairman from Odisha, to deliver his concluding remarks.
Yeah, very good evening. In fact, the lovely deliberation from every one of the eminent people today. I thank Mrs. Monica Nair Patnaik, the chairman, FICCI Odisha Council, and Mr. Prashant Biswal, the evangelist startup of Odisha, government of Odisha, for his presence today. I also thank Dr. Mrutyunjay Suar, the CEO, KIT TBI, for partnering for the Odisha roadshows and sharing his insights to the Odisha startup ecosystem. I thank the Startup India team for joining us today, and should thank Nikita ma'am for a wonderful presentation, for the reason for which we are here today. And so she has also shared each and every part, whatever is required to be right from the summit, the startup of the Prarambh Summit to the startup awards and the state startup rankings. I'm very happy to share with all of you that over the last decade, FICCI has played a very important role in fostering the Indian innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem in the country. FICCI is currently implementing more than 14 national and global programs through public-private partnerships, providing funding, business development, mentoring, and capacity building support to the Indian startups. Since 2007, FICCI has supported beyond 1,000 startups and provided funding over 125 crore rupees, as well as enabled external funding of more than 500 crores. Recently, the FICCI for Startups initiative has been launched, which is an extension of our work and strengthens our commitment to support the Indian startups. Though the FICCI Startup Membership Initiative, we are providing an extensive benefits package connecting with FICCI corporate members, mentorship by the industry experts, and the direct connect to the Indian Angel Network, access to the launch FICCI and Social Venture Fund very soon, access to FICCI innovation and startup programs, the exhibitions, delegations, conferences at special cost, and connecting to the global investor community, policy advocacy with the government on behalf of startup members, among others. Indian startups can avail the FICCI Startup membership free of cost till 15th January 2021. As the largest and oldest apex business organization in the country, FICCI articulates the views and concerns of industry. In line with that, FICCI has been working extensively in the startup ecosystem with aim to be the voice of startups in the country and provide them a platform for policy advocacy, the networking, the trust building, and many, many more things. We are all affected with the COVID-19 pandemic, which had adversely affected our startup ecosystems, and almost all players must be provided with necessary support to ride over it. I feel Government of India, as well as the Government of Odisha, also should take an account on this. And FICCI is proud to partner with the DPIIT and the Startup India for the virtual Prarambh, where we are very happy the Startup India International Summit 2021, which should come out to be a very successful event. And we look forward and encourage maximum participation from the startups looking to scale within the country as well as globally during the summit. I would like to thank everyone once again for joining us for the roadshow today, and look forward to interacting with the participants shown on the Prarambh platform. And the Odisha startup companies should also take the maximum advantage of it and try for their best. Thank you, everyone. Very good night to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And with these words, we like to close the session for today. I would once again, like sir said, encourage all the participants and especially the startups from Odisha to register themselves on the Prarambh website and avail the benefits for the summit. Once again, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for the speakers for joining us and delivering their address. Thank you.